Angel, you start, and I'll follow.
Well, I think we've gone in reality from science fiction to science fact that we know now. It might have been before where you would say something that you could turn a switch and people would die or do something. But we know, listen, there is a capsule endoscopy where you swallow a pill. It's a camera. It's the size of a pill. And you swallow it and you put a magnet on your stomach and you can pull that pill everywhere through your body and it'll show you stuff. So if that sounds like science fiction, it's not. It's reality. And I know the person that developed it. So as far as that goes, I think we're at that point. Listen, we're all connected through this internet. Just imagine the whole globe is. So nothing is out of reach, that people aren't even transfixed already to this phosphate on these screens. But as far as Trump, I love President Trump. He doesn't understand because that's not his forte. Hopefully somebody will get his ear and talk to him about the 5G. He looks at it as a business for people to make job openings. I'm with you. I know that there are dangers, cancer causing, and all of that go along with all this technology. They've proven that out now. But for President Trump, that's just not, he doesn't claim to be a scientist or a physician, and he's just not privy. I'm sure people are saying stuff or it will get to him eventually.
Well, that was one of the things early on with Trump was that he had advisors who were libertarian, who were neutral, who were knowledgeable about the different conspiracies that are going on right now. And I would have to think that Trump, being probably one of the most powerful men in the world, would know the basics about this. I think there's I just don't understand why he's not saying we need to delay this until we can test it better, or we need to look at different. Yeah, it's just, and I know that this stuff is years in the making, but he's backing it, and I just hope that no harm comes to anybody because of it.
Well, what we have always known is that he would be doing a lot more about a lot of things if he wasn't up against the fan blades with everything that's coming at him. He cannot do it all, even if he knows some of it about the 5G. There's so many things. I mean, everything we eat's poisoned, basically, unless we grow it in our backyard. So once he's fighting off everything, since the day he took his oath, he has been up against possible impeachment, possible indictments, everything up. Then he hasn't even had a chance to unravel yet.
Yeah, he definitely has to pick his battles. Like he can't.
He does.
I do understand that. I think there's something else going on behind the scenes where he doesn't have the leverage he would need to make a stand against it.
I don't know that he's told as much as the ramifications of it. You know what I mean? I think he knows what he knows, but he doesn't. They're not letting him in on all of it.
Here's a point that we're missing here. We talked about this earlier. People have the power. There is and I can't tell you where, but I know, maybe I can come up with it here in a minute. People shut down the 5G in their area. The city council voted on it, and the people said, no, we don't want it here. And the people voted it out. If more people would join together under this, unite under this subject, we wouldn't have to worry about, why isn't President Trump doing this? Again, it goes back to people having the power. This is something that we hold that we're not exercising. And like any muscle, if you don't exercise it, it atrophies. And that's what's happened to our country. We have atrophied. The people are not involved like they should be. And as a result of that, we have this muck. It's just these people run amok. Look at the way they act. Look at what this one guy. What's the one guy, Angel, who said the first thing I'm going to do is go for guns, wants to run for president? Do you remember his name? It's not that
Which,
Budgeet guy, is it?
I mean, are you talking about
No.
Beto?
Maybe it's
Beto
Beto.
O'Rourke?
Yeah, I think he
Robert
is.
O'Rourke?
No, it was Beto. That's the guy who said, I'm going to throw all the old people and the vets and that's the guy,
And
right?
he's a nutcase. I mean,
Yeah.
I read a poem he wrote, and it's just, it's over the top. And I think that, like we have, it's tough because the media is telling everyone, hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump.
Right.
And I don't, I'm hoping that I can see right through it. You know what I'm saying? I can see, I know it's tough because we have to pay attention to what they're saying so we know what they're saying and doing. The problem is we can't start believing everything they're saying. We've seen that. They say Hillary's ahead in the polls. It's a lie. She's not. They say, there are so many examples about how Trump would never win and he won.
Mm-hmm.
How there was Russian collusion and there wasn't.
Right. Or how they would sit there and say that at Trump rallies and when he got in as president, there weren't that many people there. There was a lot more people there at all of his events than they even bothered to let everybody else in on.
So I think that, well, certainly this next election is huge, right?
Yeah.
Is it not? I mean,
I agree.
because not only can we keep Trump in power, see, I support him for no other reason than he is, but for all the choices that we are going to be given, I think he's good. He's the one that is seems closest to God, and he seems closest to the greater good.
Yeah, he's definitely got some divine protection there for sure.
So,
he does. I don't know if you all had heard this, and just shut me down because I don't want to be repetitious, but when I was with Michael Vera and Riscalla, I brought up that his grandmother started the company, and her name was Elizabeth Christ. And she had 3 children, and only one of them's name is Christ, and that's Donald's father, Frederick Christ Trump. And I understand names, and I know what Christ is. I know it just is anointed. I mean, I understand that. But it shows that he's got a lineage of Christianity that goes way, 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 way back. And if you check...
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Please continue.
No, I'm sorry. You get a word in edgeways. Go ahead.
No, you're the guest. So please finish.
Continue.
Yes, continue.
Please continue.
I'm just saying the fact that Elizabeth Christ, and I tell people, check but verify or trust but verify, that Elizabeth Christ ran that business and chose one of her children only to carry the Christ name, and it happened to be our president's father, that the lineage of Christians goes so far back, and that's why there's so many lies against this man. Because, like I've said, he ends every single speech with God bless America, and the left despise that.
Yes, they do. They very much do. And that's like I said, he is a God-fearing man,
Right.
and that's important to me.
Yeah.
Because that says that he's got moral character, and that's important to me.
Well, it's what's huge is he believes in God and not in government.
Well, God over.
And
I mean,
he
God
says
over
that.
government. Let me rephrase that. Sorry, God over government.
And he says we worship our God, not our
our
government.
Yep.
Right.
So you don't think that the people that absolutely despise our God, our Father, that they want somebody like him that's, before he was elected, he was running around saying, I'm going to bring back Merry Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And that just, people just hated, or the left hated to hear that.
mm-hmm.
But he did not pull punches. He just says what he says. He doesn't need no teleprompter like BHO did. Every word came out of his mouth was off of a screen. Everything that comes out of President Trump's mouth comes out of his heart, up his windpipe, and out of his yap. So he just says it how he feels. And I respect that.
I think a lot of people.
Can you tell that can you tell I'm defensive?
No, a lot of people. I think that's why he was voted in to be where he is, because a lot of people saw that. They were tired of the real slick talk and everything sounds so nice, and then you get in office and what happens? You stab us in the back the moment that your first opportunity that you get. I think people were tired of that, and they could see that this man wasn't along those lines, that he was indeed different. One of the things that I don't agree 100% with him, with what he's done, but I think he's done an outstanding job regardless of that.
Right,
but
and compared to, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the things that drives them with the hatred for him is the fear of what's going to happen to them if he succeeds. If he succeeds, they're either going to go to prison or they're going to get executed. That's really what it boils down to. That's the reality of what we're talking about. That's why you see this fierce fight going on. Yes, they are absolutely in a panic mode because they are in fight for their lives right now. Once he succeeds, it's either going to be prison or execution.
Yeah.
But, and I give him a lot of credit. I mean, the mess that he walked into when he got in office had just insane.
I think it was worse than he realized.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he has, getting us out of the TPP. I thought that was huge.
Definitely.
He's certainly done, again, well, he's going up against literally centuries of momentum against him. And to apply the brakes doesn't mean he can just stop everything like that. It's like a train, a heavy train. It's going to take a while you apply the brakes, it's going to take a while before it stops. And, the question is, of course, when his time is done, who will succeed him? Hopefully, it will be someone else who cares as much as he did. I think I
have an interesting theory. It's just strictly a theory, and I don't think I've even talked to Angel about this.
Exclusive, everyone. Exclusive. Go ahead.
There's a couple of articles I've read, and there's some people who have done some extensive research and believe that they have presented evidence that JFK Jr. is alive. JFK Jr. and him were personal friends.
Oh, wow.
So who would be better to succeed him
yeah.
than JFK Jr.? Yeah. If that is true, I mean, that's I know that's out there. That's really, really out there. But there are people you can, like Angel says, you can trust but verify. Go out there and do your own research, and some of the evidence is pretty strong. They've taken some pictures.
I saw the pictures where it showed it looked like him in a crowd at a basketball game, right. And it looked like Carolyn Bessette.
Exactly, and it's pretty hard. Yep. Pretty hard to imitate the nose that she has. That she had that very unique nose, and this young lady had the same. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there for you guys. It's strictly a theory. I don't really have any gut feelings about it either way, but it is very interesting. Some of the way people have researched this, literally broken it down, taken face pictures of him, measured the distance between the eyes, measured the distance between the ears, and they seem to match up to earlier pictures of JFK Jr. identically. So it's kind of a freaky thing. So I thought I'd throw that in there. Who else? Who would be better to replace him than JFK Jr.?
Right, and then and then here's another wonderful thing that somebody just pointed out. That two people just pointed out in chat that our president does. He gives his paychecks to charity, and so does his family. How many other presidents have done that?
None.
Zero.
Exactly. He came in there giving instead of taking, where he's losing money. He is losing money and his health. I mean, you're fighting just to toenail.
Oh. Yeah, his net worth has gone down $1 billion, but they want to see his tax returns. I'd like to see the tax returns of people like Nancy Pelosi, Mr. Schumer, I think I can see his face and I can't think of his name. There's many of them up there. I would like to see their tax returns because I believe it would show incriminating evidence that they are doing things they shouldn't be doing. How do you get from being almost bankrupt to like $40 or $50 million in assets within